Alrighty guys, what is going on? It has probably been, I don't even know how long since I've posted a video on this channel. Ignore my allergies, this time of year it gets me pretty bad. But anyways, I wanted to kind of document this project. Y'all also hear some chickens in the background. They like to make noise all the time. But I wanted to document a new project that I'm starting. This is more one of those things. I was inspired heavily by Puddin's Fab Shop, as well as Adam Spragen, or Spragen Built Customs, and hopefully I pronounced that right. But anyhow, I will link theirs down below, and if you guys want to check them out, definitely do. They got some really cool stuff. But yeah, guys, I had to deal with the mail. But like I was saying, I was inspired pretty heavily by them. I'm not nearly as funny as Puddin, and probably don't have as much knowledge as Adam, but nonetheless, I'm going to give this a shot. I do have some fab work experience and quite a bit of welding experience, so I think I can figure it out eventually. But let me show you guys what we got to work with, and these chickens are, of course, hollering. But let me show you what we got. So here's what we have to, like, our main structure or base frame and everything that we're going to be using. This is a 96 Dodge 3500, of course, dually. It's 2-wheel drive. It's got the 12 valve Cummins. It's a Laramie, not that that really matters, but the interior in it is actually in really good shape for its age. It is missing a door panel. However, I do have the panel. It's just not on there. But like I said, the seats are actually in really good shape. No rips, no tears. It was driven by an older guy, and pretty much he took care of it for the most part. Of course, there's some stuff that needs to be carpeted, or cleaned out, and it looks like there might be a small burn mark right there, but that's it. Anyways, interior I probably won't end up using, but then again, I might, just because it is super comfortable. We'll see. I may get these upholstered or something. But for the most part, I didn't get this truck for the interior or anything, or really the exterior. I mainly just bought it for the powerhouse and whatnot. Like I said, I'll give you kind of walk around of the truck. I need to get better at my filming and editing skills. I'm not a top-notch YouTuber by any means or anything. I don't know their strategies, but pretty nice truck for the most part. I mean, other than paint and such, a little bit of body work, but the bed's in actually really good shape, except for that right there, and this right here is about the only 2 defects with it. But that's just a simple, you can replace these outer fenders. It's got an 8-foot bed, and of course the bumper's pretty much shot. That's probably gonna be the first thing I'm gonna pull off, just that way nothing happens. And of course, we got all the junk to come along with it. A free spare tire with a blown tire. Oh, and hey, there's a come along in there. I did not realize that. There's a come along in there. We got the front bumper. We have the other door panel. The gas can was already mine. I just stuck that in here yesterday. This has already had the killer dowel pin replaced. So luckily, I don't have to worry about that. It's already been done. Or I should say it's already catastrophically, failed on this truck, and the guy that had it redone everything. He was also somewhat of a diesel mechanic, so he redone all that. And let's see if I can pop this hood here. Here is the underneath the hood. Surprised it still actually has this top cover, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure he put all new gaskets and such on the valve covers. It is a P-pump truck. This is the 12 valve Cummins with an upgraded P-pump setup. You can see the brand new casing and such from when he replaced everything with the killer dowel pin. It is quite dirty. I want to try to get it cleaned up and degreased as much as I can. But nonetheless, fairly clean truck. I mean, it's not bad. It was not a northern truck. This is a southern truck. And to be honest, with the amount of grease and grime that's on the front end, most of the front end is not even rusty whatsoever, because it's got that nice thick coating of oil and such on it. Even the rear, not really bad at all. for the most part. I did notice that it's a little wet under the drive shaft, so I'm thinking it may have a slight leak back there. But this is going to be our donor vehicle for the ordeal. This thing does need two things. It needs new brake lines, and it needs a new fuel overflow bolt, which is this guy right here. However, we are going to, or actually I already ordered those parts, but I'll be out of town when they come in, so I'll have to pick this up when I get back. Hey guys, ignore the door open. I just opened it just to make it easier to film. But so this is a 77 International Loadstar 1750. This is going to be the cab that I'm going to use. I got a pretty good deal on it, so that is why I'm going with this body, or this slash nose, instead of the other type with the two butterfly doors, because I do like those trucks as well, but I got a really good price on this thing. So and it actually runs and drives, believe it or not. It has a original International DV550. It's a diesel engine, and of course here it is, old gal. And it does run. It runs actually really nice. This truck has 0 brakes. Literally, I can't open it right now probably because I think it, well, no, it is loose. I don't know if I'll be able to show you, but it is pretty much gone. It's definitely going to need some love. So nonetheless, we don't need that anyways where we're going. So here's the truck. I know it looks incredibly rough. A lot of this is obviously some of it is scaly, but a lot of that is just like an algae or something. The hood looked just like that before I cleaned it up really nice. Of course there's still paint chips and all that in it, but that will come out, that kind of blackish color. And of course trucks are gonna get repainted before long anyways. So anyway, DV550 International diesel motor, or I believe it's international anyway, I could be mistaken. The transmission is a 5-speed Eaton Fuller, I believe 5-speed transmission and 2-speed rear, and I think this is also an Eaton Fuller rear end, if I'm not mistaken. Can't really remember, but anyhow, the only thing wrong with the truck is the brake brake drums are locked up on that side, unfortunately, which is the only reason that I can't really move it at the moment. And the 2 front tires are busted, so that doesn't help. But nonetheless, it is a good running truck. I'll open this side as well. It does need a little bit of rust repair on this side. Isn't as bad. There's one little spot there. I don't even know if I got that on camera right there. But like I said, it does run. All the gauges work. The truck only has a whopping 144,000 on it. Like I said, 5-speed, 2-speed rear, and then it's got all your original switches and such still. And yeah, the seat's in actually really good shape too. Pretty much everything about it's good except for, you can see the rust there, and then there's some right here on this inner panel. You can't see it from here. And I'm almost positive when we pull this dash, the vents are probably going to have a good bit of rust for me to fix, just because that is a very common thing on these trucks. The window is pretty clear still, which is really nice. I know a lot of these older trucks, you can see there, they'll start to get that white haze around them, which is never good, but you know, it happens. So I'll definitely keep this glass until I can find another piece to go in here. The roof does have a, I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera, but it's got a decent dent right there. We're gonna pop that out. I've got all new cab lights for it. I've got a lot of new parts for this old gal. But the only issue with the seat is of course this here. But we're gonna pull this whole seat out anyways, and you know, check to see the floor underneath it, all that sort of stuff. But like I say guys, this truck is fairly solid candidate for what we're going to be doing. I picked this up in Alabama, so hopefully that means, I mean, as you can tell on the frame, it's really not a bad truck. This is hardly even surface rust. It's a excellent. So we have finally gotten the bumper pulled off here, as you can tell. I highly recommend just chopping that thing off with a grinder, a plasma cutter, whatever you got. I did a combination of both. I cut some of it with a grinder, and I cut some of it with a plasma cutter. There's 4 points of contact where the bumper is connected. You got like two 45-degree angles that come out, and then you have these two straight pieces. So chop two on either side, and pretty much it should come out unless yours is different for whatever reason. But yeah, 4 points of contact, chop those, bumper should fall out. The only thing you might want to do if you're planning on saving some of the wiring and such, go ahead and pull your tag lights out just so you don't rip them out or break them or whatever, if you plan on saving them. If you can't access the top of the, like to make that cut with the grinder, you can take the tailgate off and you'll be able to access that little slot right there to cut the top. That was a little bit tricky for me, so that's what I did. I just took the tailgate off for a few minutes and done that, and then of course, you know, now it's good to go. The bed is fully unbolted, as you've seen in the time lapse. It is unbolted, ready to be taken off. Kind of just trying to figure out how I want to go about doing so. I don't have anything overhead to pick it up with, nor do I own any like tractors or skid steers or anything of that sort to be able to use to pick it up. So we're going to have to get creative with how we do this. The back will be no problem. I'm pretty positive I can manage that, but we need to figure out how to pick the front of the bed up high enough to clear the tires. So essentially we need the bottom of this bed to clear above that tire, but at the same time whatever we have holding it up needs to be on the outside of the tire, if that makes sense. So that way essentially I can lift up the front of the bed, put my little sawhorses or whatever I come up with underneath it, drive the truck out, and then hopefully back the trailer in right underneath the trailer, or right underneath the bed, and set it down on the trailer, so on and so forth, get it out of the shop. Guys, we got lucky today. So what we have here, this is definitely the sketch fest. However, of course my dog decides to bark right now, but we got the, well, if it'll focus on the right thing, we got the chain wrapped around this fairly decent sized limb. On the come along that was in the bed, it does in fact work, which is really nice. That actually worked out really nice. I got 4 of your standard like Harbor Freight sized ratchet straps, and I put just a little bit of tension on them so that way they don't back out. And the whole goal here is, I mean, we're close. If I shake the bed, it's wanting to let loose, but I just wanted to show y'all really quick how I had everything set up. If you're in the same predicament I am, where you don't have any equipment or anything to lift it, just be sure that when you pick it up, you pick up as straight as possible, just so, you know, obviously you don't want to swing and either hit the truck or hit another vehicle or hit yourself or whatever. So just be mindful when you're doing this. But I'm gonna try to get a time lapse set up again. I'm gonna finish cranking this. I'm doing it real slow because that limb there is probably about maybe 5 inches or so round, maybe 4.5. So I don't know how strong it is, but it's almost got the bed completely lifted. So once we get it suspended, I think we'll be all right. But nonetheless, I'm gonna put y'all on time lapse and get the trailer after we get this picked up enough. I'll pull the truck out and so on and so forth. Well, seems like, I don't know, it's probably been 2 hours since that time lapse or so. The phone died while I was trying to get it off. So here she is nonetheless. Took a good while, along with some help from my girlfriend, to get it off of here. I kind of had to have her pull the truck out while I held the bed at a certain angle so that we could slip it off. Honestly, though, it is incredibly clean, way more so than I thought. I am probably going to makeshift a little perch or something for this, just temporarily, so that way this is up and out of kind of a kink or whatever you want to call it. So I may raise this up somewhere in like that and just take a piece of rebar or something, tack weld it to the frame, and I'll just basically make like a 45-degree bend in it. So that way, you know, it's kind of like a V, and then this will just sit on top of it for now, so that, you know, over time this doesn't take shape to that. So here is the frame, and this is probably about as far as I'm going to be able to get, because I have to go out of town tomorrow, and the sun is starting to go down. So yeah, next video, you guys will see me probably doing the brake line. We'll probably also tackle this rear end a little bit, just to see what's going on there, clean that up a little bit because it's quite dirty. Yeah, so we'll do brake lines, we'll do maybe clean that up a little bit, see if we can't pinpoint the leak, and we're also gonna swap out that overflow bolt, and then we'll probably end up having to drop this tank out when I get back to get to the brake lines that are along the rail. But yeah, but if you guys did enjoy this video, I know it's not a whole lot, and this is kind of the first of a series, but if you guys have any suggestions or anything you want me to kind of go over a little bit better, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm always trying to improve. Like I said, I'm not super great with filming and such, so if there's anything that stands out to you that you'd like to see or anything, definitely let me know. I'm always open to suggestions and for some advice. So anyways, here's the interior again, in case anybody's wondering. Most of these parts might get sold, but if you guys did enjoy watching, please hit the like button for me. Like I said, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe if you feel like it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.